Shalom, brothers. Today we're going to deal with the lesson of Revelation, the 17th chapter and the 5th verse. Elder Tahar had gone over that chapter a while ago on one of the shows that we did in the studio, and he did mention that we would touch on that subject, breaking down the numeric value of Revelation 17 and 5 in the Hebrew, and he said one of us would get to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into that today with you, brothers, and I'll show you what that means. All right. This was something we learned from Arya, and I know right now he's going off, but we know through the Spirit of the Lord that he's gonna come out of that. Everything that went down, Scripture say man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own ways? So we know that he's going off now, but the Lord is gonna bring him out of that madness. And this is one of the things that he taught us, and we're still teaching it because it's the truth. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go right into the scriptures, break it down, and explain it to you. There's a little bit of explaining that has to be done so you can really understand it, but let's just jump right into it so that way you can get the understanding of it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter and the 5th verse, and read that. And it says, "And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth." Now, the her that it's talking about is talking about America. All right, you can prove that by going to the last verse of this chapter. All right, and then she has a name written. Now, the name that's written upon her, because see, this name that the Most High put upon Esau, the name that's written is actually a number, which is actually basically his whole system, and it's a mystery. But for a long time it had been a mystery, but the Spirit got on Arya to break it down, and now we're breaking it down. So this mystery has already been revealed. Now, when you go into the Hebrew, all these words are written in the Hebrew, but there's some of these letters in the Hebrew, in the characters of the Hebrew, that we're not going to use. All right, and mainly this whole sentence here, "And upon her forehead was a name written," and the mystery, we're not going to use that. But there's a couple of letters within Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth, that are not going to be used. So you can see that it'll be broken down that way, because it was a mystery. So the Lord wrote it in the mystery. So in the mystery you have to pull out the bones, the meat from the bones, so to speak. All right. So the main part of this scripture that we're going to be using is Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. All right, so to get started, we're gonna go right here to our Revelation 17:5. This is a little something I put together, and as you can see, Revelation 17 and 5, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Now, when you go into the Hebrew, before we actually go into this, I want to go ahead and pull up the Hebrew. This is the book of Revelation 17 and 5, and you brothers could just type in, in your search engine, you could just type in Hebrew New Testament online, and they'll give you a few of them. There's a few different versions of them. So you, like I said, you just pick and choose, the best one. And the one that I have here, this is the Hebrew right here. This is Revelation 17 and 5, and it says wa Wa'il Matazaka Kathawab Shum Badar Sawad Babal Hagadawala Haya'a Ama Hazanwath Washakwat Watazaya Ha'arataza. Alright, so that's the Hebrew there. Alright, so now each one of these letters in the Hebrew has a numeric value, and we're going to show you that. As you can see here, this is the Hebrew alphabet. A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Cha, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Tza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Ta. Now those are all the letters, the Hebrew characters, which is 22. Now you notice I skipped over some of them which do not have any numbers underneath them. Those are the final lengths to the ones before them. Like this is the final length for the Ka, which when the word would end in a Ka, this would be what you put at the end of the sentence. This Ka, the final length Ka. Alright, same thing with the ma. This would be the final ant ma. This would be the regular ma. This is the regular na, and then this is the final ant na. This is the pa. This is the final ant pa. And same thing with the tza. This is the final ant tza. Now each one of these letters has a numeric value beginning with a. A is 1, ba is 2, ga is 3, da is 4, ha is 5, wa is 6, so on and so forth. Then when you get to the ta, which is 9, the next one is ya, which is 10. Then after the ya, then they increase by 10. So you have ka 20, la 30, ma 40, na 50, so on and so forth until you get to 90. Tza. Then the kwa, ra, sha, tha is 100, 200, 300, 400. So this is a numeric value to these letters. Alright, so then when you pull up this here, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth, what you have here is part of the sentence that we read in the Hebrew over here. As you can see, I'm sorry, right over here, as you can see right here, it says Babal Hagadawala. So Babal Hagadawala, Babylon the Great. Now when you pull this back up here, this is the same sentence that was there. All right, now you notice that I have some stuff highlighted here. This is part of the verse, but these letters we're not going to use because this is not part of this mystery. All right, just like these letters here I have highlighted because these are part of the letters that had to be taken out to be able to break down the mystery. Right, so the first one we're going to deal with is Babylon the Great, which Babylon the Great is Babal Hagadawala. Babal Hagadawala. Right, now when you read the Hebrew, you read the Hebrew from right to left. All right, and that's the same way I wrote down my numbers. I wrote them from right to left. So there's but you know, the English language, you have to write it from left to right. So I had to start with the last letter here, which is a ha, and run the numbers backwards. All right, so the ba is a 2, and we're going to show you that. See the ba here? Ba is 2, right? So if you look at this ba, you'll see a 2 here, then another ba, you see another 2 here, then la, which is la is 30, right? You'll see here next to the 2 is a 30, that's the la. Then the ha right here, ha is number 5. So then you go the ha, and then you got the 5 there. Now you got a ga. Now what's ga? You look at ga is number 3. All right, then you got the da. You go back to the Hebrew chart, da is 4, right? And you see the 4 right here, the 4 for the da. Then you got the wa. What's the wa? 6. There you go, wa, right? So then you pull this back up, you got the number 6 there, you got the wa. Then you got another la, which the first la we said was 30, and you got the next la is 30, and then the ha is 5. So these are all the numeric values of these letters here, because we're going to use all of these letters. So 5 plus 30 plus 6 plus 4 plus 3 plus 5 plus 30 plus 2 plus 2 equals 87. So we add them all up. And then you take the 8 and the 7 and you add those together, which 8 plus 7 equals 15. Right? So you take the 15 and you add that together, 1 plus 5 equals 6. So there you have your first 6. So Babylon the Great, or Babal Hagadawala, when you take all those letters and the numeric value and add them all together, you get a 6. Alright, that's your first 6. Now the next word that we're going to deal with, or the next phrase, is the mother of harlots. Like you see here is Ama La Zawanwath. Alright, which we read over here. You see here is Ama, which Ama is mother, Ha Zawanwath. Alright, so Ha Zawanwath is harlots, mother of harlots. So when we go back over here, this one is Ama La Zawanwath. Yeah, I was having difficulty with this because you know I have to battle between two different texts that they have out there, you know, that are written slightly different, you know, so I have to jump back and forth. So before I continue on, I just want to go back and go here. This is the first actual Hebrew we read, and in here when we get to Babal Hagadawala, these two are this one here, this text here, and the other text, they both read the same for Babal Hagadawala. Alright, then you have Haya'ah, Amah, Hazanwath. Right, this one says Hazanwath. Now when you go to this one here, this is the 5th verse again here, right? And then when you come down to here, Babal Hagadawala. See, so the two, this text here and the other text, they both read the same here. Alright, then that the other text had a little extra word here, and then this one says Amah Lazawanwath. Now when you take Amah Lazawanwath and you drop the La, this works with the 6. But this one here, even though this is another way of saying mother of harlot, Hazanawath, this one here in particular doesn't work. Alright, so we'll go with this one here, Amah Lazawanwath. Alright, and then Amah Lazawanwath there, as you can see, that's what I have here, Amah Lazawanwath. Then you add all these up, all these letters, which the Tha, as we showed you here, the Tha is 400. See, and you go back, the Tha there, you have a 400. The Wa is a 6. Wa is 6. You know, then you have the Na, which is 50. The Wa is 6. The Za is 7. And notice the La is 30, but notice that there's no 30 here because this is highlighted. We're not going to use this letter. So the next letter is a Ma, a final land Ma. So that's a 40, and then the I is a 1. So when you add these numbers up, 400 plus 6 plus 50 plus 6 plus 7 plus 40 plus 1, it equals 510. And then when you add 5 plus 1 plus 1, 5 plus 1 plus 0, it equals 6. So that's your second 6. So the mother of harlots, there you have your second 6 when you put the right letter combinations in the Hebrew together with the numerical value. Alright, so now, like I said, we got to fight between two texts, you know, two texts that are out there. So now this here, this right here, this is the other text that the mother of harlots part worked, and the Babylon the Great part worked. But then the abominations of the earth on this one, which is Wala Thawaib Wath Ha'aratazah, this doesn't work. So then we had, like I said, I had to battle between the two texts, and this one here says Wa Sha Kwawatazaya Ha'aratazah. Now this worked. Now if we go here, I can show you. See, Wa Sha Kwawatazaya Ha'aratazah. And remember, I told you at the beginning that there's certain letters that have to be dropped in order for you to get the mystery. Alright, so then you got the Tazah, which is the final land Tazah. And as you can see here, the final land Tazah or the Tazah, they're both 90. Right? Then you have the Ra, which is 200. You can see there, Ra 200. You know, and then you can compare the two of them. Right? Then you have the Ah, which is 1, and then the Ha, which is 5. And then the Ya is a 10, but notice there's no 10 there because this letter gets dropped. Alright, then you have the Tazah again, regular Tazah, which is 90. The Y is 6. The Kwa is 100. The Sha is 300. Let me show you that. The Kwa is 100. The Sha is 300. Right? And then the Y is 6. So you add 900 plus 200 plus 1 plus 5 plus 90 plus 6 plus 100 plus 300 plus 6, it equals 796. So 7 plus 9 plus 8 equals 24. 2 plus 4 equals 6. So there you go. There you have the last 6, which is and abominations of the earth. So Babal Hagadawala equals 6. Amah Zawanwath equals 6. And Wa Sha Kwawatazah Ha'aratazah equals the next 6. That's where you get your Babylon the Great 6, mother of harlots 6, and abominations of the earth 6. So you go your 666, and that's your 666 there. Alright, and the people that's gonna get caught up into this is 2/3 of Israel, Esau and the other nations. Alright, so we're done with this for now. So we'll go back over here to Revelation 17:5, and it says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Now let's go from there, because the number is 666. So let's go from there to the book of Revelation 13. We're just going to go straight to the point. Verse 18, it says, here is wisdom, Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, or 666. All right, that's the number of Esau. That's the number of the beast. All right, and that's the number that the Most High is allotting to be destroyed in this time around. Now let's go from there to the book of Isaiah, the 65th chapter, and the 11th and the 12th verse. And it says this. It says, Isaiah 65 and 11. But ye are they that forsake the Lord, that forget my holy mountain. See, that's Jake out there. They don't consider the Most High. They forget the Most High's holy mountain. That's what the scriptures say, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. It said that prepare a table for that troop, and this troop is Esau, and that furnish a drink offering unto that number. See, the number is 666. And as we're going to go into, we'll break it down. We're going to show you that the amount of Israelites that are going to be destroyed in this up and coming destruction it adds up to the number of the beast, the number of Esau. All right. So it says, and that furnish a drink offering unto that number. Therefore will I number you to the sword. See. So the Lord says he's going to you offering a drink offering unto that number, meaning that you have certain Israelites that their whole mind frame is just to serve the so-called white man, you know, and then to try their best to indoctrinate other Israelites to go serve the so-called white man, you know. So that's the number. They're preparing that number, you know. Those seats have to be full also, just like the Lord said to go out, you know, because the servants went out. The parable of the servants that went out to bid those that were passing by to the wedding and to the marriage. And then he said when they took account of all of it, he said there's still room in here. You know, we did what you told us to do, but there's still room. So he said, look, go back out into the highways and the hedges, and whoever you see, bid. You know, so that's why we're out there in the streets teaching. You know, bidding those that the Lord has reserved those seats, bidding those whose seats are reserved by the Most High into the marriage of and the supper of the Lamb. All right. So then the same way you have that those reservations, so to speak, is the same way that the 2/3 have a reservation. All right. It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called you did not answer, when I spake you did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. All right. So this is talking about Israel. Now let's go from there to the book of Zechariah, the 13th chapter, and the 8th and in the 8th verse, and then we're going to end it right there. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And if you take 2/3 out of 100, it's 66.6%. All right. So that's the amount, and that's the number that the Most High is using to destroy. That's the number that the Most High is using to put upon the so-called white man. And that's the number that Most High is using in these microchips. So everything the Most High does, he does in numbers, he does in weights, and he does in measures. You know? So the 2 parts of the 66.6% is the same as the mark of the beast, which is the 666, you know, which is the same thing that we read in the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth. All right. So, you know, this is just a short lesson just to show you, brothers, you know, the breakdown of that Hebrew phrase. And with that, you know, we're going to close this, and I hope you brothers learn something. Shalom.